Well, landing on a boat is so landing on a runway, it's stationary. It's not moving. Landing on a boat, that sucker is moving up, down, and away from you, and on an average of about 25 knots is how much wind you want over the deck. And if there's seas, then that thing's moving up and down like this. So the only way you're going to be able to have your tail hook actually catch a wire, and that landing field between the first and fourth wire is about 120 to 150 feet. So most runways like your airliners land on, 7,000 feet, 8,000 feet long. This is 150 feet.
Wow.
So you have to essentially put your head through about a 14-inch box in order at the correct airspeed where you're cocked up like this so that your hook is dangling down to catch the wire. And so you have to put your head through a 14-inch box that is also moving like this every time the ship moves. So the only way you do that is you fly the best instrument approach you can on your needles, which is basically a precision approach path that gives you your azimuth and your glide path. So you're constantly making thousands of little corrections like this, all the way down for airspeed, angle of attack, and glide path. And as you're doing that, you're also, when you get in close, you've got some of your buddies on the back of the ship on a radio. They're called landing signals officers. And then they're the last thing that happens. Your last 18 seconds from when you make your ball call, where you call and say, I see the ball, I see the ship, and I'm continuing, and you tell them how much fuel you have. At that point, you are under their control. They take over, and they call you in. And they'll give you little power, or the inflection and what they say is exactly what you do. You obey them exactly. So if they say power, you give them a little bit of power. If they say power, a little more power. If they say power, then you give them a lot of power. And same thing with lineup. If they say right for lineup, you give them a little right dip. Come left, a little left. And so you're betting your life on them making the correct call, because what they can see that you can't see as you're approaching is they see the rear of that ship, the stern of the ship as it moves up and down, and they can tell whether you're going to clear it or not, because you might think that you can clear it, but what they see is you're at the bottom of a trough, and then now the ship's about to come up a wave, and it's going to come up into you, and they'll give you that call to help you not hit the back end of the ship and become a smoking hole and thousands of pieces of shrapnel scattering across the flight deck, going through hundreds of sailors.